Hello again from the Panthers office as we bring you the latest episode of Checking It Out with the GMB. And we've just got the one guest with us this week on the couch, but we've also got guests on the Chick Zammit Gallery. We've got Vic and June from the GMB, Panthers main team sponsor, and they're also sponsoring Saturday's big game against the Manchester Storm. Storm's first visit to Nottingham in I don't know how many seasons it is, but they're back in the top flight, and we welcome the Manchester Storm on Saturday at 7 o'clock at the Capital FM Arena. We've also got our physio Scott Poundle with us. Dan Green's up on the gallery as well, and he'll be doing a little bit of analysis for us as well. And we've got the girls from the office as well. But as I said, just the one main guest with me on the couches next to the water cooler. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cam Janssen.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
2 games, Cam, and you're also already one of our most popular players.
Yeah, it's kind of a whirlwind. Going into the first rink was tough. It was tough. Didn't have my legs, but the guys are great, and they made it very comfortable for me. And I'll tell you what, playing in our arena was fun. That was a fun game. I honestly haven't had that much fun playing in a long time, to be honest.
I think the idea of playing in front of a few thousand people had been planted in your mind by former players, and that was one of the attractions of joining the Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing in the American League the past couple of years, it's such a developmental league where we didn't get that many fans at all, and it wasn't that much a hockey hotbed out east in Albany. It really isn't. So it wasn't that much of an atmosphere. So I missed that. I missed the feeding off the energy of the fans and kind of like that junior mentality when you play juniors in Canada and stuff. And boy, did I feel that Saturday night, and that was great.
And guys like Jordan Fox maybe talk to you about what his time in Nottingham had been
Jordy like? And Brock Wilson too. Yeah, I grew up with those guys, and they were both my age group, and we played AAA together growing up, and great hockey players, great guys, very good friends of mine. And they moved the ball, they got the ball rolling, and they explained the whole situation and really convinced me to come here, and they were definitely right.
Now they come from a big hockey family, a hockey dynasty, you might say. Dad played, uncle played, and Jordan was here for a long time. Granddad Wink Wilson was involved in scouting and what have you. What about your family background? What's that? Was it hockey in the family, or were you the exception?
I was definitely the exception. My dad, construction. My mom's a nurse practitioner. Grandpa's were in the military. So no, hockey had nothing to do with hockey, but they loved the St. Louis Blues, and I grew up watching the Blues. My dad got me into hockey, but I played everything. I mean, from football to wrestling to cross country, soccer. Football. Football part 2.
Corey calls it soccer ball.
Yeah, soccer ball. We'll call it that. So I played everything and kind of developed as an athlete, and but I loved hockey because I loved the St. Louis Blues. We loved the fighting. I loved it, and I got into roller hockey and then got into ice hockey kind of late. Started like 9-10 years old, and that's pretty late. And St. Louis is not a hockey hotbed at all. So the competition wasn't good at all in town, so we'd have to travel to Canada, to Michigan, to Minnesota to get competition, and eventually my parents went broke because of it. Honestly, they did. It was so expensive, but hockey was definitely not in my background, and I'm the exception for sure. And
then junior, you kind of crossed the border, didn't you? You went north to Canada,
and which was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I was kind of playing AAA, and when we would go up and play in these big tournaments in Canada, the teams we'd play, all the scouts would come watch the team we play. They didn't care about us, and but you're still involved. So I got scouted up there playing these tournaments, and I had a chance that the Windsor Spitfires drafted me, and that was the best decision. I leave girlfriend, friends, family at a young age, and move into a different country and with a billet family who you don't know, a billet family and a family that takes you in. And I did it, and it was the best decision I've ever made, and it really got my career going.
That billet family wasn't Mrs. McGee, was it?
No.
Okay, you have to have seen the film.
Unfortunately.
You have to have seen the film to know about TV.
But I was thinking about that. Don't get me wrong. It crossed my mind.
Now listen, can we ask the fans if there were any particular questions they wanted me to ask you on this special show? Vivian Steadman, we kind of already covered it. What was your expectation coming to Nottingham? And other than Corey, were there any other people instrumental in making the decision? You've mentioned Jordan and Brock.
Yeah, Jordy and Brock. Yeah, absolutely.
What about girlfriend and people like that? Did they say go for it?
My girlfriend, my fiance, yeah, absolutely. She's been through a lot with me, and she's been when I played for St. Louis and with the Devils, and she's she's been through a lot with me, and she's everything, and she keeps me stable. And this is a great life experience for us. You know, I love European history, I do, and I've always wanted to come over here, and so we made this decision together, and she's going to be coming over here soon. And she's with me one way or the other, and if I'm happy, she's happy. If she's happy, I'm happy. And playing American League, it's stressful. And if I'm miserable, then I make her miserable, and it's not fair.
But you need that family support and fiance support.
All
of us do.
That.
You know, I mean, I've been doing this job for a long time, and if it wasn't for Audrey and the kids and the support you get from your friends and family, it can be tough to bear.
Oh, and don't get me wrong. Like I'm tough, and I think I'm very tough. But if I don't have my girl to support me, and my family, my mom and dad, and my brother to support me, I'm a wounded deer, put it that way. You need that mentally you need that support, and boy, they help me, and because of that, it's it all works out.
Elizabeth Giles wrote in. She wants to know what you thought of the crowd on Sunday night.
Oh, I loved it. I think when I was the last one to come on the ice, I couldn't hear the announcer call my name, so I think I stepped on the ice like 30 seconds early. Oh, probably about 5 seconds early. So I'm like, did they call my name? So, but the crowd was great. They were great. They're on top of you. They were loud.
That was a Sunday crowd, of course.
Yeah.
You know, traditionally, we're a Saturday night team.
Yeah. So, the crowd's gonna be great. The rink's awesome. So I'm pretty excited to get them going, and I can tell they're just right on top of me, and they're gonna be loud.
All right. Tom Hyde says, how did you feel after the game? Are you looking forward to winning trophies with the Panthers? And it's a little premature, but would you consider staying at the end of the season for another year?
That's
You've been here for a weekend.
I know. I don't even have my internet set up yet.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. It's coming. Listen, what was the first question again? I'm sorry.
How do you feel after the first game?
The first game was tough. It was tough.
I think Tom might mean your first home game, but your first real game was in Cardiff.
That was
a difficult place to play.
Very
the
difficult.
Ice is difficult. It's a small rink.
Tough team.
There's not a lot of room. It's a team that's built around the small ice.
Exactly. No, I know, and but sometimes that's a good thing to get thrown in a mix like that for your first game. You want to get banged around. You want it to be as difficult as possible for your first game, because then afterwards it feels more of not a breeze, but it feels easier. I think that in a sense was the best thing that could have happened. But after that game, oh my gosh, my legs were on fire. Oh my gosh.
Felt like you'd run the stairs a few times.
Oh my gosh. But then after that, I felt great. The game after, and I don't know, that was Sunday? Yeah, okay, Sunday. Geez, sorry. But yeah, I felt great that game. Got the legs going. First practice today was great. Flushed the legs out a bit, but oh boy, that first game. Oh my! But you have to expect that. That's expected the first time with the guys and everything. So it all works out.
Touching on the point Tom makes, are you looking forward to winning trophies with the Panthers? You've won a championship in juniors.
Yes, I did.
But then in your pro career, you're not got that close.
I got close. We lost LA in the final, and that was tough. That was a long playoffs. There are months, and you're just a grind, and you're not playing, and it's even more of a grind because you have to be positive around the guys, and the team would have me come in and give a speech to the boys, like a pump-up speech. So I had to be creative and come up with a new skit when we're playing, Philly. And
was it a bit like Any Given Sunday?
Yes, it was. Yeah, and I had to come. Yeah, but that's every Sunday. We were playing every other day.
So you're the Al Pacino of the Panthers this year.
Very much so. I like to think so. So I'd have to come up with a new something just to be involved. And but then we lose to LA, and it was tough. But winning is the best thing, and you always ask these guys that retired, what do you miss? What do you miss? And they're like, well, it's not the goals, it's not the fights, it's the winning and the locker room atmosphere after you win a championship, winning games in general. Winning is fun. It makes it so much funner for everybody, and I definitely want to win championships, and that's a big reason why I wanted to come here too. All
right, Tana Crawford, are you just an enforcer? Is there more to your game?
I'd like to think there's more. The whole enforcer role has been weeded out of the NHL a long time ago. Ever since that lockout in 2004, where they changed the hooking and clutching, the speed has just grown so much in NHL. You have to be able to play. So whether it's being great on the forecheck, being able to hit. I played in the NHL, because I was good at fighting, because I hit. I was good at hitting. I knew how to create space. I knew how to scare defensemen into coughing the puck up, and then my line mates would create plays and create offense because of that. I hit, and that is a good quality. You have to have a different element than just fighting. No one just fights in the NHL anymore, or the American League for that matter. The American League's weeded that out as well. Yeah, there's tough guys, but you have to have other elements to your game. And I'll go in and I'll create space and I'll pop some goals in, I think. Absolutely will.
We're looking forward to that. Are there any names around the league that you recognise that you've made the acquaintance of previously that are on your Christmas card list?
As far as fighting, not necessarily tough guys. I don't recognize too many tough guys. But the other game we just played, there's a couple guys I played juniors with who I didn't know, who I haven't seen in years, and I see them out in warm-ups. I'm like, oh, I know you little rat. I'm gonna get you. Even though we're great friends, I just know Daryl Lloyd, who it was. I played with Windsor, and I was he got to be the rat.
Rat's the word.
And I was his right-hand man, like no one's touching him, and he got to do his thing. It's pretty cool to see some guys I haven't seen in a long time, for sure.
All right, you had one moment in the game on Sunday. You and Matt Nickerson got quite close to each other.
Yeah, we're about to kiss. There? Well, his breath was bad, so I wanted to throw a kiss at him, but he didn't let me. No, they were quiet, and the game was close, and that stare is kind of like, you're not doing anything. You're not going to do anything. I'm here, whatever. Just one of those, like, hey, I'm here kind of thing. Kind of hard to explain, but it's my style. But they were quiet, and to go up and just try to go fight him. Then I'm off the ice for 5 minutes, and he's off the ice. But he knew that if he did anything, I'm right there. And that too. We didn't win the game, but they were definitely quiet that game. That's for sure. And so was the other team.
All right, last one from the fans. Ben Royal, who is the toughest player you've ever fought, and who's the best player you've ever played against?
The toughest guy I ever fought, man, in the NHL, man, everybody's tough. The tough guys are tough. In the American League, the tough guys are even tougher because you don't have to have. It's just harder to make the NHL as a tough guy, obviously, than the American League. Derek Bugard, I fought. He was big and bad. 6'8". Donald Brashear was tough. George LaRock. I mean, they're all tough. The best player, obviously Crosby, Ovechkin, played against all those guys. My first goal, actually, in the NHL, Ovechkin could have back-checked on me, and he got lazy and didn't. I took a top shot. Yeah. But the best player I probably ever played with, besides Marty Brodeur, because he's a goalie, so it doesn't count, Ilya Kovalchuk. He is, not to mention, an unbelievable human being, the coolest guy, down to earth, which he doesn't have to be. Down to earth guy, but he was so unbelievable. Controlled the play. I was telling the guys today in practice, these little dipsy doodle moves that he would do in practice, and score on Marty Brodeur will not let you score on him in practice. He will dive, do scorpion saves, and pull his back out just to make a save in practice because he has so much pride. And Covey would just make him look foolish. Don't tell him I said that, but Covey was definitely the best player I've ever played with. Against, Crosby knows they're all good. They're all good. Datsu, they're all good.
I once saw Marty Brodeur a few years ago get the hook. He got pulled off in a playoff game, New Jersey versus LA. And New Jersey came back to win it, but people around me were going, hey, Limey, that's something you don't normally see, Marty Brodeur getting the hook from the coach.
No, you don't. But there was probably a reason for it. He might have been banged up. When was this?
5 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's always a reason because he doesn't get pulled just to get pulled. Obviously he might have been.
You've rubbed shoulders with all these big names, Cam, and we could talk to you about it for hours. We're going to talk to you again in part 3 of the program. We'll get Dan to come down and join us, so you've got a teammate to do some player questioning.
Cool.
And then we're going to get Dan right now to have a check on the overtime period as he analyses our Sunday game here in Nottingham against the Belfast Giants.
Thanks for that, Gary. Yeah, a couple of tough losses for the Panthers this weekend, and we're going to look at the second one on Sunday against Belfast. See here in overtime, the Panthers have got a power play. Moran, Dimon, Schultz passing the puck around nicely here. Panthers have their chances to score. A nice block. Rob Farmer just in front of the net there, causing some havoc. Moran gives them a great feed in front, and he just can't quite get a handle on it, and they shoot the puck down to negate the power play. So now the Belfast are back to 4-on-4, but Panthers again in their end, causing some trouble. Mosey throwing the puck at the net. McMillan can't quite find the puck. Lacquer has it in the corner. This could have been a penalty here. Lacquer kind of gets his feet taken away from him. But Belfast break, very dangerous. 2-on-2 here. Desharnais on the outside, all the way around. Beach wide open in front, and nothing Mika Whitman can do. And Chris Beach scores the overtime winner and gives the extra point to the Belfast Giants. Please join us after the break up on the gallery with Eddie and all the guests.
The new Fiat 500, the Icon Reloaded. In Fiat showrooms now.
Whatever your white good needs, whether it's sales or repairs, choose Jim Grice, Sutton in Ashfield. With nearly 50 years of family business experience with all major brands, we'll make sure you take home the product that fits your needs, with no hidden extras. Choose Jim Grice, Sutton in Ashfield. Friendly family business that cares. Nearly 50 years speaks for itself.
I'm Jeff Dimon, and you're watching Checking It Out from the Panthers office with the GMB.
Ice hockey, the world's fastest team sport. Played in Nottingham by the GMB Nottingham Panthers. For tickets and fixtures, visit panthers.co.uk.
We're here at the Chick Zammit Gallery, and I've got guests with me today. On my right, Dan Green, Scott Poundle. To my left, we've got Vic and June from GMB. First of all, we're going to talk to Dan Green. Great piece of analysis there. Bitter pill to swallow, though. 2 overtime losses. How was the atmosphere in the locker room?
Yeah, obviously, we want to win every game, so it's always, disappointing to lose no matter what. But it's even tougher when they're both in overtime. We thought we could easily have won both of those games, or not easily, but we had chances in overtime. We could have won both those games, but sometimes it's just the way it goes. They're obviously 2 very good teams as well, and I just think you've got to look at it. We've gone into Cardiff and got a point, out of there, and Belfast, another tough team. We've got a point there, so we just got to make sure we beat them in regulation next time we play them.
Now, it's not a losing streak by any means per se, but it's still not perhaps the result you guys wanted. You've had plenty of experience in this league. What needs to change to go from a little bit of a slump like that into winning ways?
I think it's we literally just have to, win both games this weekend coming up. There's obviously teams that we're going to lose against. Everyone's going to beat everyone. It's going to be a really competitive league. But, if you do end up losing, it goes to 3 and 4 games in a row before you know it. You're, way off the chasing pack. So we need to definitely get a win on Saturday, which is league points as well. And then, worry about the Challenge Cup game the next day.
Awesome. Now we're going to talk to our physio, Scott Poundle. This episode has been kind of around Cam Janssen. So could you tell us from your perspective his fitness when he came to Nottingham?
Oh, he's clearly in great shape. He's worked out all summer, and you see him physically the way they look. And we watched him skate. He was out there skating around at 100 miles an hour in his first game and first shift. So that he's put the work in the summer, and so far I've had no complaints.
What about on the heart rate monitors? What does it look like on the work ethic of him on the ice?
A lot of reds, but I think Corey pushed him pretty hard today, so he was up there with everybody else. But you get some guys that come in late, probably not expected to play or didn't know where they was going to be playing, so not quite done the work, and you really see their heart rates stand out quite differently from the rest of the team. But with Cam, he's slotted in quite nicely.
Now, you were talking about training today. Obviously, our captain, David Clark, could not join today. Is it still too early to assess what's going on?
He's still going through the processes at the moment. We'll see what happens from there.
Perfect. Thank you to our physio, Scott Poundle. Now, to my left, we have Vic and June from GMB, our main sponsors. You've been sponsoring the club for many, many years. Big thank you to both of you for that. Could you tell us, how did the cooperation start?
Right, they started about 14 years ago, and we met somebody from Panthers in the pub next door to the office, and talked us into sponsoring the socks, and that's all we did to start with, and it built from the socks to the major sponsor, and we've never looked back since really, and we're quite proud to be the main sponsors of the Panthers, and I think it does both of us good. Yeah, good profile for GMB. It's lovely out at the weekend to see all the GMB shirts. All the shirts with the GMB on, and then all round town after with the match. and the posters as well. It's been a good marriage, I think, and still a good marriage.
Oh, well, let's hope for many, many years to come. You obviously were at the game, I understand, home game last weekend. How did it look in your eyes?
Well, it looked good, and I think it's like what Dan said. It was close. It could have gone either way, really. It's just let's get on the winning side now. Let's move forward. Got to, yeah.
That's great stuff. We've been joined by our wonderful guests at the Chick Gallery. Now we're going to go back on the couch, where Dan is going to join Cam Janssen with Gary. You're watching Checking Out with the GMB.
Whatever your white good needs, whether it's sales or repairs, choose Jim Grice, Sutton in Ashfield. With nearly 50 years of family business experience with all major brands, we'll make sure you take home the product that fits your needs, with no hidden extras. Choose Jim Grice, Sutton in Ashfield. Friendly family business that cares. Nearly 50 years speaks for itself.
Amore.
Subito.
Say hello to the all-new Fiat 500X. The Italian crossover, ready for action in all Fiat showrooms from April 24th.
I'm Evan Mosey. You're watching Checking It Out from the Panthers office with the GMB.
Cam Janssen is still with us on the couch, and we've got Dan Green down to do a bit of player sort of conversation. In part one, Cam, you were talking about, you know, wanting to do more than drop the mitts and sort people out and be a policeman and what have you. But I hope you don't mind me saying this, but let's be honest, the big numbers in Cam Janssen's CV are not under the goal column and the assist column.
No, they're not. In the summertime they are, though. But they don't count that, apparently. But yeah, you know, I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna do my job, do what I gotta do, be good on the forecheck, hit guys, intimidate, make sure they cough the puck up, which they will, and just go from there. You know, I learned when I got sent down in the minors for the first time in a long time. It took a while to kind of get adjusted. I was like, you kind of figure out, well, should I try to score? Should I do this? And you kind of get confused. And once I just didn't think about it and just played and just react, and things just happen. And that's when you play your best. And you know, the more ice time you get, and the more you get comfortable with everything, it all flows together. And I'll implement what I need to, and make it my role work and benefit the team as much as possible. Whether that does pop in goals and help other guys do whatever, it'll all work out, and I just gotta kind of not think about it and just let it flow. I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's kind of the mindset that you have to have in this situation, I think.
I think you did.
Was that a good answer?
That was a good answer. And I was going to say, Dan, this guy is clearly an energy guy, isn't he? He brings energy to the locker room, and he's only been in town for 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, he's so far he's been great in the room, and obviously, you know, he's playing on a line with Ollie Bettridge, who's, you know, a first-year guy, and he was talking to him loads, encouraging him, you know, telling him where to be and how they were going to set stuff up. So, you know, he's got that veteran presence. But yeah, you saw every time, you know, he got on the ice against Belfast, the crowd were, you know, on their feet every time he made a hit. You know, it gave everyone on the bench a spark, and just having someone like him in the locker room makes everyone else feel that little bit bigger. So, you know, it helps everyone else. So it's great.
And what sort of things, you know, he's sitting beside you, asking him, you know, pose some questions. What do players ask new players? What are the sort of things you want to find out from? I mean, Cam reminds me of Barry Nycott.
Yeah.
A little bit shorter, but you know, just as wide, just as big chip pan hands, and just as willing and happy. I mean, Nike's always used to worry. When Nike's got into a big scrap for us, his tongue came out like a dog. Rolled from side to side. You knew when he was enjoying
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's funny you say that. We just had lunch together before this, and yeah, I was just asking him a few things, same sort of thing. You know, what favourite cities to play in the NHL. You know, who are the best guys in the league? Just this and that, little bits about, you know, where he's played, you know, his background. Same things you ask players he's played with, things like that. So yeah, obviously playing at such a high level for such a long time, it's great to get those insights and see what he thinks about, you know, certain incidents, situations and stuff like that. So it's cool.
we talked about it in part one, that it wasn't the most glamorous of venues that you launched your UK career in, the big blue tent. I mean, Eddie was going there for the first time on Saturday as well and didn't believe me when I said he's got blue plastic walls. Enjoy that, Eddie.
Yeah, that was perfect.
They got lots of rinks like that in Finland, haven't they?
No.
He's low maintenance. He doesn't care.
But then you came back to our home, the National Ice Centre. Nice place.
Big difference, absolutely. But I do tell these guys though, you know, they're warning me about this rink, and I'm like, I'm telling you, the American League has bad rinks too. A lot, actually, most of them are terrible, and the cities are bad too. So that's a double duo. At least that city was beautiful. I think I was the only one on the bus going there, looking out the window like, ooh, look at that castle. Ooh, I wonder how old that is. Ooh, look at, you know, and that just interests me so much. But yeah, you know. The rinks, whatever. I mean, yeah, it wasn't pleasant by any means.
They're moving to a nice place though in January.
Yeah. So, but I'm used to that. Like I said, the American League. Oh my gosh, terrible rinks, terrible benches. But then you come here and it's just night and day. I mean, I like. It was different after the game. You shake hands after every game, which is. To me, I was like, what's everybody doing? You line up, and then you salute the fans, which I think is totally cool. I'm not used to that. Shaking hands after every game. I thought it was kind of cool. Actually, the shaking hands part was but the saluting the fans I thought was totally cool. I get it. That was nice.
All right, we've got a treat for him on Saturday, haven't we? Saturday games, Flower Vision supporters, and we give the bouquets to the fans as well. There's a little new ceremony. And speaking of Flower Vision, we do a couple of awards every week. You know, a kind of jokey clown moment of the week or a bouquet from Flower Vision. Jim Grice. Electrical. Dan was up there filming the advert for them, which we've seen in the ad breaks tonight. They support the daft moment of the week, or the silly moment of the week. And then Flower Vision support our imaginary bouquet of the week. I think we can cover the lot with you. Although, first, for daft moment of the week, I've got to tell you that on certain devices, you can get subtitles on our show. I found it last week on a different device. I sound like I know what I'm talking about in IT terms, you know. I'm there, aren't I, Freddie? Yeah? But under subtitles, it's done on the sound of the voice. And you will have noticed, Cam, that like you have a bit of an accent, I have a bit of a northeast accent.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Just a little bit, son.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit, son. Go up the foot of our stairs.
Yeah.
Well, me mum's watching this on the internet. But on the subtitles last week, two things caught my eye. One, we were in the Planters office, or the Panthers office. Not the Panthers office, the Planters office. But my favourite was, where did Matthew Myers come from? The Kurdish Devils, not the Cardiff Devils. Right? Now, I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
But they're not in it, because both awards are going to go to the Cam Janssen arrival in Nottingham via Heathrow, via Circles for the Storms. It wasn't the best of journeys, was it? We had some good, we had some bad, and I'll provide the ugly for it. But your flight was delayed, so you missed the connection.
Yes, we. Why I picked the flight to go to Atlanta Airport, which is the busiest airport in the world, and thunderstorm, they shut the airport down. I rushed to catch the plane 6 minutes late. 6 minutes late. They're so lackadaisical. They're like, oh, well, yeah, go over there and do that. I'm like, where? So I run on the other side of the world in Atlanta and finally catch this plane, and I knew my bags weren't going to be on. So that was tough. But finally get in, and everything actually after that worked out pretty good.
Except the bags weren't with you.
The bags were not with me, and I was really worried about that because, you know, they say that they're going to bring it up on time, but people at the airport, they don't really care, to be honest. But the guy I was talking to there was a hockey fan, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. He was a hockey fan, and he got my bags at 4 o'clock.
Well, the next day, Goody was chasing it. I don't even know if you know this, but one of your bags arrived when it was supposed to, and the other one wasn't on the plane. So they couldn't get them up to Nottingham in time, Dan. Can you believe this?
I can believe it.
So the other bag then arrived an hour and a half after the first bag. So you arrived, then one bag arrived, then another bag arrived, and a guy called Bobby threw them on a courier's van and took them to Cardiff.
He needs to get a shout out.
Bobby is not only getting a shout out, Bobby, who sorted it out, is getting the Flower Vision bouquet of the week.
He was awesome.
Well done, Bobby.
Bobby.
That's an anomaly. That's an anomaly in the airports.
Okay, so daft moment of the week. So you rush in, you get there, you have a skating belt, and the Big Blue Tent in Cardiff. You come here, you have a nice skate. You know, you're in your nice flat, city centre flat. You like to leave the window open. And then in the middle of the night on Sunday night,
No, it was Saturday.
Saturday night.
Yes, I'll explain it.
Go on.
So Saturday night, we get in. I finally have all my stuff, my clothes. We get in late. Tough game. Legs are burning. Just mentally drained. So I get in and I unpack all my stuff, all my suits. It's about 3:30 in the morning. Finally get to bed, and the windows in these flats are about 400 pounds each. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, I finally fall asleep, and then kaboom! It collapsed on me. It got so close to me, it nicked my finger. That's how close.
So this is the whole metal window frame collapsed out of the wall onto the bed.
Right when I fell asleep. I woke up in a panic frenzy. I thinking somebody was. I didn't know where I was. I was already out of it anyway. And then I tried to lift it up to put it on the thing. I couldn't even lift it up. It's so heavy. So I almost got decapitated. And finally fell asleep, worked out. The guys came the next day who are really, really good. They put it back on. A couple crows flew in the room, a couple animals, and we're going to kick them out, and we're all good to go.
So you're breeding pigeons.
Yeah, I got birds now. So, but it worked out.
And that gets our Jim Grice's light-hearted moment of the week award. Don't forget, Saturday at 7 it's Panthers versus Manchester. Sunday the boys travel to Coventry for a cup game. Saturday's game counts for both cup and league points, and it's the Manchester Storm coming in for the first time, not only this year but for several years. My thanks to everyone up on the Chick Zammit Gallery, my thanks to Dan Green, and especially my thanks to our special guest this week, Cam Janssen.
Thank you guys. Thank you. You guys are great.